Hello, familia, and welcome back. We're just going to do a 24-hour energy check-in for the weekend. Since it's already Saturday, grand rising, grand afternoon, grand evening, or grand rest, wherever you are, whenever you tune in. Before we get started, and while I wait for a couple people to come in, I'm going to say some mindful words, so to speak, to raise the vibe, healing and happy thoughts. Yes. A quick prayer. Dear source of all that is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do and all that you do through me. We stand before you in divine authority, commanding in alignment with your perfect will. Hello, Chris. Thank you so much for popping in. Happy Saturday. My voice is restored enough to do a live, so we're just going to go for it. On the mend, but haven't lost our confidence. Yes. Infinite Creator, we stand in your divine authority, commanding in alignment with your perfect will. By the power of divine law, we now open our lives to abundance, security, stability, and protection. No weapons formed against us shall prosper. We command true prosperity to flow into our lives. We command good fortune to follow us in all things. We call forth true love, divinely ordained, harmonious, and eternal. Our hearts and souls are aligned to receive and give love in its purest, most sacred form. May our paths be illuminated, our spirits fortified, and our lives a testament to the boundless grace of the Creator. So it is, so it is, so it is, and so it shall be. Happy Saturday. I took medicine and made a spicy tea to help me remedy my throat issues so I could speak a bit more clearly. We're going to go into the shadow work deck first to establish the primary energy of the collective and around the collective at this time. Then we will go into some other decks for a bit more detail. This is the next 24 hours energy already in the orbit as well as coming in. Here we go. Holy Spirit, Source, Messenger, energy representing and around the collective for the next 24 hours, please. Oh, here we go. And the first to come out, we have aggression. It landed a bit sideways, but still on the upright. So this should give some sustenance as to the energy. This has to do with situations where we are being called to ask ourselves, have we acted a bit too aggressively? Hello, Vulcan. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being kind and keeping it kind. Much gratitude and appreciation. Happy Saturday to you. Let's see here. If you keep it kind, you can keep your blue suit. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So in terms of this energy here, it's quite the ogre archetype. Passion is a force, reshaping landscapes and destinies. Grand Rising, Natalie Rose. Hello, beautiful sister. Thank you so much for popping in. Jace, hiya, Brostar. Hello. Thank you so much, everybody, for popping in and saying hello. Even if you can't stick around, thank you for being here and showing support. This aggressive ogre is here probing our tendencies towards aggression. This could manifest as hostile behaviors towards others, or it could be directed inwards, causing self-harm or self-sabotage. This energy is prompting us to acknowledge these patterns and explore strategies to channel this aggression constructively, fostering assertiveness rather than aggression. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, a bit of aggression, either already in the orbit or coming into the orbit. But we're going to take a look at the bottom of the deck. We have wisdom and number 54 in the immediate orbit, representing the collective and the orbit of the collective. Wisdom. And another number, another double digit that both have the number 4 in them. So those 4s are still pretty significant in terms of energy, representing the collective. And emphasizing stability, the importance of a solid foundation. But before the foundation comes the scaffolding. And how we recognize, evaluate, and transmute that aggressiveness is going to be how well grounded that scaffolding is in terms of structure, stability, energy. So we have wisdom coming in as the scaffolding to transmute the aggressiveness. Let's take a look at wisdom a little bit closer. From the guidebook, number 54. I love this book because it offers a bit of a storyline as well. And since that's the primary focus of this channel is storytelling through multiple ways, shapes, forms, and modalities, I love to bring in the detail. Second device, I don't have anything going on a second device, so I'm not sure what's happening. Am I being too loud? Oh, that's strange. Can you still hear it now? Thank you for letting me know. Is there still a bit of an echo? Okay, so what I'm going to do is close the tab on my laptop to see if that helps. All right. Okay, you hear it in the distance. It's very faint now. That's so odd. I have no idea what you're hearing. Can you still hear it? Oh, okay. So it must have went away. What I did was I had this live open on two different devices. Excuse me. I'm on the mend, guys, so forgive me if I cough in your ear. My apologies. Oh, goodness. I have to mute for a second so I can cough. I'm so sorry, you guys. I just had a coughing fit. Ugh, bless you. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I thought I had the cough under control. It must have been, bro. So, I thank you so much. God bless you too. I'm on the mend, guys. Um, that pneumonia, excuse me. The pneumonia that I was exposed to turned out to be a staph infection. And as a result, I now have a chest cold. So I'm on the mend, not identifying with the cold. um, trying so hard not to identify with the cough. Oh, goodness. Yes, back to the wisdom to transmute the aggression where I left off. Excuse me. Both spiritual and practical knowledge to navigate life's challenges. When it's in the shadow, though, it represents pretentiousness. Hello, Bro Star Falcon. Thank you so much for being here. This was kind of a pop-up, unplanned live. I was feeling a little bit better. And I thought maybe I could do this. And we're going to push through it for as long as possible. The pretentiousness of this card draws us to the question of when have we acted a bit foolishly without consideration of others. Having the having the wisdom to transmute the aggression. So this is some of the energy for a 24-hour window. And we're going to go a little bit further because I don't think it's all about aggression and having the wisdom to transmute it. I think there's a bit more to it. But so it seems there's been a little something in the air lately besides Staphylococcus causing pneumonia. And furthermore, being contagious to where I don't have the full-on staff, but I definitely have something going on. Sonia, hello, beautiful sister. Thank you so much for being here. This is a surprise pop-up live. Excuse me, due to being on the mend, I wasn't going to do this. But then I started to feel better, and I was like, well, what the heck, why not, you know? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sonia. Excuse me. I'm so sorry, you guys. This cough. I feel so rude. Give me just a second. Oh, I know that wasn't very ladylike, but I had to clear my airways. Ricola. I have a Ricola in my mouth now, so that should help. I have a chest cold, beautiful sister, that I caught from my back of the house bestie. They were in the hospital with pneumonia, but they didn't know until their cultures came back and they were already home that they had a staph infection. Yeah, there is a little something in the air other than germs. We'll just put it that way. Practically everyone that that we connect with online, especially on YouTube, has been dealing with some kind of just low frequency, low vibrational energy. And it doesn't feel personal at all. It doesn't feel personal. But it doesn't feel good either. Yeah. Excuse me. So, yeah, that's where we're at with all of that. I made myself a super spicy turmeric green tea. See, what I do is I steep the tea first, and then at the end, I actually pour in. This time I did like almost an entire tablespoon of habanero sauce that I added to my tea. Yes, you heard that correctly. I add hot sauce to my tea. Because the curcumin, there's something in these spices that is said to be beneficial. Yes, ginger, honey, lemon, citrus, turmeric, chilies. Absolutely. I do all of that in 1 cup. I sure do. Oh, it does clear me out. We won't go into the details on that one, though. Let's see what we can do to utilize our wisdom to clear out that aggression. Whatever these bugs are, these germs, they're pretty darn aggressive too. Yes. Yes. I rely heavily on what I can put together at home. And one thing that I never run out of is cayenne. It's the capsaicin in the cayenne and in other spicy peppers that, according to numerous scholars, can have numerous health benefits. But I'm not a doctor. I don't want to go into too much detail. I just know that it's really, if you're not allergic, of course, there's always a chance of being allergic. But if you're not allergic to cayenne and other spicy peppers, so many benefits, rich in vitamin A, C, E, and B, as well as potassium and magnesium. And that's all I can probably say. I sure do. I put cayenne in my tea and I put habanero in my tea to make it spicy. Yes, I like spicy hot chocolate too. I like spicy chili chocolate. I sure do. Excuse me. Disclaimer alert. Disclaimer alert. I'm not a doctor. It's not a diagnosis, not a prescription, not a prognosis. But it is said to boost metabolism, aid in weight loss, reduce inflammation, improve digestion, pain relief, support heart health, prevent the C word, boost immunity, and even clear nasal congestion. The purpose of me doing it was to clear my nasal passages and my chest, my lungs. But, you know, when we consume it and it goes in our gut, it's clearing out other things as well. From end to end, it's clearing things out. We'll just put it that way. Back to the immediate orbit of the collective, we also have the gift of understanding. So, even if the aggressiveness hasn't been realized and caught just yet to be transmuted, whether it is or isn't, there's going to be some level of understanding involved here. So it's already looking pretty easily resolvable. Like the collective is onto their own shenanigans from time to time, to put it politely. And so you're catching it quicker, becoming more understanding, and so more moderation is being applied to some degree, or it will be, because this is coming from the immediate orbit already in the environment of the collective is that gift of understanding, deep empathy, as well as the ability to have insight into others' feelings. So, from what I'm getting here in terms of the aggression, is that it's a rare commodity for the collective, and it's not even really a commodity. It's really more about recognizing the difference between being assertive and being aggressive and choosing the assertive route. Every single one of us are capable of this. And with that gift of understanding already in tow, whatever this is, within the next 24 hours, including now, including the now moment, because that's really all there is, we have the wisdom and the understanding to transmute it. So whatever it is that the collective has been more aggressive rather than assertive about, it doesn't matter. It's probably going to be different for every one of us. But it's resolvable. I love to see this card coming out, especially when the more aggressive archetypes come out, like the ogres. This is about trying to understand perspectives different from our own. Having the ability to hear others out, and perhaps even consider at some point that their perspective out of the whole ordeal may even be the better one in that situation. That mindset has been popping up a lot this week as well, in terms of being open to new perspectives, the perspectives of others, and also the potential of another perspective being more ideal for the situations at hand, and that willingness to learn. Open-mindedness and willingness to learn. With this in the upright, the collective is demonstrating a profound connection with emotional intelligence, which eventually leads to the avoidance of further misunderstandings, and that's what I see happening here. However this works out, however this is transmuted, it's going to clear the debris so that there is less of a chance of that aggressiveness reoccurring. We're going to get one more card from the Shadow Work deck as the basis of this message and the energy for the next 24 hours, including now. And then we're going to go into another deck. Source, Holy Spirit. More energy representing the collective for the next 24 hours, please. Oh, apparently more than one. So we're going to just kind of power through these cards. Okay, so we have magic in the upright, innocence and lacking empathy in the reverse. So the first to hit the table would have been lack of empathy in reverse. We're going to put it back in the upright, though, just for aesthetic purposes. But we will be reading it from the shadow instead of the light. And this is a sorcerer archetype. Overwhelming empathy, feeling too deeply, and taking on others' emotions to the point of being paralyzed or drained. Now we see where the aggression is coming from. The aggression is coming from too much and too often taking on the burdens of others. And the aggression is coming from the exhaustion. And there really isn't much of a warm and understanding way of expressing that at first. And, you know, sometimes when we're being assertive, if another isn't quite tapped into that wisdom on their behalf yet, they could be mistaking that assertiveness for aggression. This could be somebody who's not used to hearing the word no, or they're not used to a firm voice. They're not used to dealing with others who may have boundaries in place. So that assertiveness can come off as aggressiveness when in all actuality, it's not. It's setting healthy boundaries. It kind of goes along with the saying that anytime that there's a lack of understanding about something, someone's going to demonize it. Hello, Julie. Hello, beautiful sister. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Saturday. And welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here and popping in. So, the aggression, or shall I say assertiveness, is rooted in unnecessarily taking on the burdens of others. Like the quote unquote others may not even be expecting this of the collective. It could be second nature. If you are an empath and you can feel deeply as such, sometimes we can also mistake others' feelings as our own, and it's going to affect us in some kind of way. But we're still being urged to continue to cultivate that empathy and kindness. But also, it's almost as though there's a second lesson here in terms of when we recognize that in others, we also recognize it in ourselves. And we can take a pause and ask, when could we have been the one who was cold or distant in our connections? Thank goodness we do have a bit of magic coming in. But first, we're going to take a look at this. Number 18, an innocence in the shadow. This innocence is in the shadow. So let's see what that means for us and the energy of the next 24 hours. Being gullible. A susceptibility to being easily deceived or manipulated, potentially leading to being taken advantage of or misguided choices. At the end of the day, though, we have to be accountable for that without malice or hatred towards others, without pointing the blame finger, but without also like dissecting ourselves at the same time. So a bit of naivety in terms of that gullibility and being easily swayed by others. Again, this does not give us permission to point any blame fingers. This is just coming to the surface for us to be aware. And through awareness is change. Because that awareness is the precursor of change. When we're aware, we recognize it, we can process it for what it is and not try to make it into something else. Like magic. It's not how it works. But that's also not necessarily what this card means for us either. If we're being more assertive, then that means we're already catching it. It's like the collective has already been catching on to the gullibility. And to some degree, it has been somewhat of an irritant. And if it hasn't happened yet, it will in the next 24 hours. tapping into the energy for the next 24 hours. With magic in the upright, this is that ability to transform realities, or otherwise to protect and heal. Recognizing and embracing the magic and the transformation. So regardless of how the aggression came about, we're being called to be the ones to transform and transmute it. And instead of really putting too much focus on how it came about and the sources, take the synchronicity for what it is and use it to remold and reshape our lives. And sometimes it's going to have people feeling some kind of way. It just is. When we apply healthy boundaries, again, people who are not used to the word no, or they're not used to like not getting their way, then that assertiveness is going to be misinterpreted as aggression. Holy Spirit is saying, forgive them anyway. Still be forgiving. Still be forgiving. Whatever it is, regardless of what it is, it's forgivable. In the upright, releasing grudges and offering second chances. Beautiful. Who do we have yet to truly forgive, and what has been holding us back? Well, I'm not going to go into the details on that question, but I will go into another deck to determine what other energies either already are in the orbit or will be showing up within the next 24 hours. Going into the Woodland Wardens. Lucy! Oh my goodness, that hurt my throat a little. I have to stop doing that. Hello, beautiful sister. Thank you so much for being here. Happy Saturday. And good morning. Good morning. I may be on the mend, but I'm in good spirits, guys. Okay, let's go into the Woodland Wardens to determine what other energy is either already in the orbit or on its way in. Holy Spirit, for the collective. Here we go. First, we're going to do what's coming in to the orbit. Oh, that one popped up. Okay, we're going to do a full pass. If it doesn't fall or it doesn't get pushed up, we're not going to reach for it. All right, so one card came out representing energy that is still on its way in. We have the butterfly and the snowdrop with hope. Are you a beautiful butterfly? All you beautiful butterflies going through a metamorphosis at this time. Hope is being restored. It's not quite not quite in our immediate orbit, which also means that we as the collective have been a little less hopeful than usual, perhaps. especially in terms of the funky energy that has been in the environment, like everywhere, and isn't personal at all. And it's due to a period of hardship that has been coming to a close. But although it's not here yet, this card is saying that better days are ahead. Excuse me. Better days are ahead. And in the immediate orbit and environment of the collective, we were just speaking on healthy boundaries, and look what's in the environment, what's already here for us. This is what's coming in. This is what's already here. Boundaries. The importance of setting healthy boundaries. Regardless of the context or reasoning behind it. Excuse me. We have number 38, the porcupine, and the anemone with boundaries. And this is a reminder that we can't help others unless we first help ourselves. And by maintaining those healthy boundaries around our time and energy, we're able to give more generously, but only once we have sufficiently been fed ourselves. Hello, DJ Tom. Hello. Thank you so much for being here and popping in. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. So, some of that aggression, that assertiveness is stemming from the collective trying to pour from an empty cup, beloveds. Hello, Model Wave. Hello. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. So the question and the inquiry with this card is, how can we ensure that our needs are met and have established healthy boundaries around our time and energy? Sonia dancing in the bed. I can actually picture you laying down, listening to his music and doing a little jiggy wiggy. Oh, goodness. So again, the assertiveness and the misunderstandings, the misreading, it has to do with whoever it is that the collective has been applying these boundaries to. They are most certainly not used to it. They are used to getting their way, having their way, and having the say. And as soon as that went, so did their mindset and perspective, which the collective has been taking on as an unnecessary burden. And so, to a degree, we're being called to drop the baggage. Carrying the burdens of others. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see what other energy is coming in for the collective in the next 24 hours, including now. Source, Holy Spirit, the one and only, reliable messenger. Nothing else is coming in. Nothing else is coming in. So, back to what is already in the immediate environment. We have the hare and oak with new opportunity, but it's in reverse. For aesthetic purposes, I'm going to place it in the upright. but we will be reading from the shadow of the hare and the oak. Number 3. And with this energy, we have hard work that hasn't been paying off. So the collective has been working hard to keep a handle on the emotions and set healthy boundaries, but it has been ineffective and exhausting the collective to some degree as a result. Because in reverse, it's that urgency to power through difficult times, even those difficult times that may not necessarily be our own, to even contend with. But because we feel as though we have the bravery and the vitality to do so, we just assertively step in. But as a result of stepping in for another, we have been neglecting ourselves to some degree. And comes that disclaimer alert. I promise you, I am not here to diagnose anyone in any kind of way. I am simply the messenger, and that is part of the message. We have been depleting ourselves for the sake of others. And there's nothing wrong with having a servant-driven heart whatsoever. Living a life of service to others. But we cannot do so from an empty cup. And it's not personal. Just like our healthy boundaries not being taken seriously is not personal. It's not personal. Also in our immediate environment from the bottom of the deck, we have the elk and ash with strength, but it's in reverse. It's in reverse because fighting the battles of others and carrying the burdens of others without being sure that we have been replenished has affected our strength and our endurance. Or if this hasn't happened yet, it's coming about in the next 24 hours. However, with this coming from the immediate orbit and in reverse, this is showing up as that strength and vitality already being depleted. And so, feeling overwhelmed in the face of challenges that have seemed impossible to overcome. And if this hasn't happened yet, it's expected in the next 24 hours. And it's in these challenging times, though, collective, where we're actually being called, being reminded of our own strength. But also, how does our inner strength differ from the outer strength? What situations call for either or perhaps even both? Oh, wow. 100 years is not anything to shake a stick at, huh? Hello, Tashanka, Brostar, and Face the Ace. Hello. Falcon. Am I missing anyone else that I haven't greeted yet? I don't have my other device open because it was creating feedback. So, happy Saturday. And welcome, welcome. Welcome in. So even the burdens that we take on that are not our own, that have been completely exhausting us of our resources, are yet another reminder of our own strength. Also, another reminder of the necessity of a self-check-in. Tuning in to the within, like listening to our bodies and giving it a fair shot of communicating with us and letting us know, like, what needs to be topped up, what needs to be replenished, so that when we do step into our call of service, that strength and vitality doesn't end up needing to be replenished again so quickly. Something about rationing our energy is what Holy Spirit just said. Rationing our energy, but also in any situation, pausing to identify, does this situation call for my outer strength, or is it calling for more of that inner strength, the emotional and the physical? Sometimes both. But in the immediate orbit, we have communication. So the importance of clear communication is involved, no matter the situation. Mandy, hello, beautiful sister. Hello again. Thank you so much for popping in. Thank you for the like. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for being you, all of you. Sincerely, thank you. We have the rooster and the sunflower. So, although these situations either are or they're about to be stirring up a little bit of assertiveness, Source is reminding us that we call the shots. And we are, to some degree in these situations, in a position of authority to do so. To be the one to step up to the plate and clear away any debris of misunderstandings and miscommunications, to open things back up both ways, to clear the debris so that flow of communication is accessible and flowing both ways. And that is not only well suited for the collective, but it also means that you're capable of being a forthright leader. Protective, confident, but also honest and capable communicators. And Source is saying that with this card, the collective is the perfect candidate to rise to the challenge. All right. Now let's go into the Kipper to see what other energies are either going to be coming in to the collective orbit, or otherwise, if we go and when we go into the bottom of the deck, what is already in the orbit. How am I doing? Well, I'm on the mend, but I'm in good spirits. Thank you so much for asking. Hello, Kat. Hello, beautiful sister. Hello. Happy Saturday. Good morning. For like a half an hour more where I'm at. Good morning. Yes. Going into the Kipper for what is either coming into the orbit in the next 24 hours or from the bottom, what already is in the environment. Holy Spirit. Energy that we need to be aware of from now until the next 24 hours. Okay, nothing coming in just yet. Let's see, we have one card that turned completely sideways inside the deck, and that's expectation. This card has a lot to do with patience. And more to do with that rather than lowering our expectations at this time. Okay, dear friend, I will visit you very soon, and be sure to knock and leave flowers. I'm all out of bananas, but I can leave flowers. All right, let's take a look at expectation in terms of what this means for energy coming into our environment. A pause for observation, reflection, and thinking things through. Not really taking any immediate action. It's almost like Source is saying to a degree that some of these situations may not even need like direct acknowledgement, like outwardly direct acknowledgement. Like we can just be aware, recognize it, and with modest fortitude, just take care of it, internally, externally, or otherwise. And just otherwise allowing things to ripen on their own accord. We're being guided to continue to be patient as these situations are more dependent on the outside world, but cannot be addressed in that manner unless we address it internally on a more intimate level. So without the broadcasting and without the outward acknowledgement of it. So coming in for the collective is more of that ability to just wait things out a bit longer before responding. See? Because in our immediate orbit at the bottom of the deck is that stability, that foundation that we were just touching on in the beginning. It's already being laid. Aww. But you know what you could do? You could get her a potted plant and she can tend to it for however long. I love rose bushes, but I don't think it's something that I would want to tend necessarily indoors unless I had the right equipment. But I mean, otherwise, you can get her like a house plant that flowers, and it won't give off that that other vibration of picked flowers, where it's like when you look at picked flowers, you already know, or cut flowers, you already know eventually they're going to dry up and wither. But if you get her a plant that she can love on, oh, she doesn't like potted plants because she wants the plant to be free. Perhaps I'm going to need a little more time for introspection before I can make another suggestion. Yeah, a true empath, including with plants. Beautiful. So with number 20 and that stability, that foundation, this is indicating that the collective is the strong one in the situation. But just because we're the strong one in the situation doesn't mean that we are required to take on every seemingly endless battle. But what we can do is just offer a glimpse of that security and safety for others, and then just allow it to take its course from there. And if this isn't already happening, again, it's still on its way in. Some of this energy is on its way in yet, and will be by 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. Some kind of situation, a misunderstanding, somebody's misinterpreting your assertiveness for aggression, and it has to do with setting boundaries with a person, place, thing, or situation that is not used to hearing the word no. Whatever it is, they are used to getting their way and having their way. So that boundary is being mistaken for aggression, when in all actuality, it's that scaffolding securing the foundation. All right, Holy Spirit, Source, Holy Spirit, we're going to make another full pass. Oh, and we just had some cards fall to the floor. And when that happens, it means this energy is coming to the door. Just 2 cards fell. Toil and Labor in reverse, and Journey in the upright. So an opportunity to deal with these situations with less work involved is on its way. Holy Spirit just said, hold the fort, hold the line. So no need to even put any more energy or effort into these situations at this time. And for some of you, that means because it hasn't come into your orbit, your environment just yet, but it's on its way. But when the situation does arise to deal with this misinterpretation of your healthy boundaries, it's not going to feel like work at all to you. Although it may seem like sweating bullets to them. All right. Now, Now we're going to see if we can pull off this full pass without any more cards like slipping through my hands. Here we go. Holy Spirit Source. More energy coming into the environment and orbit of the collective from now for the next 24 hours. Oh, it's pushing cards up. We're going to make one full pass. One full pass. All right, that's it. All right, we have 3 cards out. False person in reverse. So, to some degree, the collective may have even been misinterpreted as being fake or faking the funk, putting on airs, wearing a mask, starting dumpster fires in the background. But in all actuality, sometimes when we set healthy boundaries, it's going to feel like a dumpster fire to somebody else. And that's okay. We are not required to carry those burdens. And evidence that the collective has been unnecessarily carrying the burdens of others has already showed up. And if it's not already in your immediate environment, it's on its way in. But that means that the situation will also be shifting and changing. With despair in reverse, it will be overcome. Despair will be turned on its head, or it already is. It's going to be different for everyone. It's either already here and already done, or it's on its way in. And it's up to us to be that change. And we have the spiritual authority to do so, as that message already came out. Turning despair on its ugly head. For aesthetic purposes, I'm going to leave it upright. But we're going to go into that card a little bit more. This has to be overcoming the characteristics of a troubled relationship of some kind, not necessarily of the romantic type either. But this is unsteady grief, adversity, and obstacles in some kind of connection. Whether it's your employment, your homestead, distant family, a community. There's trouble, or has been trouble. And since we're turning that on its ugly head, that would mean that the collective is overcoming, or will be overcoming, by being the one to step up to the plate and transmute that energy. You may have been dealing with some frustrations, anger, or even a tinge of jealousy from and with others. But with that being upside down, it's resolvable. And we're being called to be the ones to do the work. Beginning within, doing the work within. And then it will be mirrored externally. From the bottom of the deck, we have the Thoughts card. For those of you who have already been dealing with some kind of misinterpretation of your energy, either you or the other person has been all up in their thoughts about it. Excuse me. But this is more about consideration pertaining to opinions and the thoughts of others as well. Discernment. And Source is saying that this is mostly over platonic matters, not romantic. Being encouraged to excuse me, my throat. I'm so sorry, guys. I feel so rude for coughing in your ear. Goodness. Considering thinking it through more thoroughly and exploring new ideas and perspectives. All right. Now we're going to go into the Hungarian Gypsy for a bit more. And I'm sorry I haven't been paying attention to the chat, you guys. I'm a little distracted by this tickle in my throat. And also trying to interpret the cards. So, in the next live, I'll be a lot more attentive. Probably on Monday will be the next live. And I may just drop a second premiere tomorrow in place of a live. Monday we'll be back to our regular early rising premiere. And then mid-rising, 10:10 a.m. Eastern Time, live for our 7-day outlook, miracle manifestation, and mission-focused Monday messages. From now until tomorrow's next session, which will be pre-recorded, what other energy is coming in for the collective? Holy Spirit Source. Excuse me. And then, okay, nothing is coming in just yet, so let's see what's already in the immediate orbit. We have merriment. Choosing joy no matter what. Goodness. Choosing joy no matter what. And right behind that, we have constancy. So, consistently choosing joy no matter what. Right behind that, we have hope, but it's in reverse. Yet, second indication that hope that came in with the butterfly out of the woodland wardens is still on its way in. So not only is that hope possible, it's being anchored in. And more confirmation that it's involving a situation or will be involving a situation that has been misinterpreted as being fake or false. When in all actuality, it's not. It's genuine, forthright, and divinely ordained, divinely orchestrated. There are golden nuggets that we are meant to have come to the surface as a result and be integrated. More wisdom coming from wisdom. Oh, goodness. That's a lot of coughing. I'm so sorry, you guys. On a good note, with this energy already in the orbit and not necessarily coming in, I like seeing the Ecclesiastes here because it lets us know that Source and Holy Spirit always have our back. The light always has our back. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Yes. Our A team has our back no matter what. And that's why we're being called to be the ones to step up to the plate and handle it. That light of leadership is within us, and it's being stoked with hope that's on its way in. It's like the hope is like a, what would you call it? Extended release where you're getting like little doses of it at a time until it's fully anchored in. And it's divinely ordained. So we're really not meant to see the whole picture just yet. We're going to do one more full pass. And because my throat is so scratchy and my chest is burning really bad, oh, that's beautiful, Falcon. Falcon says, that card reminds me of Demeter, the green robe. Yeah, actually it does, doesn't it? Even with all the other symbolism in the picture. You're not wrong, bro. Good eye. How fascinating is that? Perhaps there's even something more symbolic to that, even as part of our message. I saw the Good Fortune card earlier at the bottom of the deck, but I wasn't called to pull it. So, Demeter, in essence, represents sustenance, harvest, and we are in the harvest season in the Northern Hemisphere. So there's another interesting synchronicity mentioning Demeter. The harvest, wheat, is also symbolic, which offers nourishment. So a nourishing energy, a cornucopia of sustenance. coming in for the collective. In terms of that, we're going to take a look at the bottom of the deck now to see what's in the immediate orbit already. Bada boom, bada bing. We have love. Interestingly enough, Demeter's daughter Persephone is often associated with love is in the air, and also their connection to Eros, Ares, Eros, and Persephone. Are you seeing the connections here now, bro? This is wild. You mentioned that the woman being depicted in this image reminded you of Demeter. And somehow, intuitively, we got a match. Love is in the air. Whoa, whoa. Love is in the air. I'm placing all these cards here off to the side so you know the energy is still there. But we don't need to revisit. We're going to take a closer look at this card, though. Because there's more. More to it than the obvious. Excuse me. Sorry, guys, I'm having a hard time swallowing. I may have to draw this to a close soon. Oh, goodness. This can also mean your guardian angel is watching over the entire situation. And with modest and graceful fortitude, they're guiding the collective through all of it. Or they be. For those of you who aren't already dealing with some kind of situation where your assertiveness was misinterpreted. Because that's the primary energy of this message for the next 24 hours. Is some kind of assertiveness in applying healthy boundaries that was misinterpreted by another person placed in your situation. And with money at the bottom coming up upside down, this is also not just affecting one's health. It's creating a decrease in numerous different areas. And I did mention strength and vitality were being depleted earlier on in the message. Tahir, hello. Hello and welcome, dear friend. Thank you so much for being here. As always, if you can keep it kind, you can keep your suit, and thank you so much for being here. Sincerely, thank you for being here. Now, if this confrontation involving your boundaries occurred in a workplace setting, it could have also been affecting your financial means to some degree. Or it hasn't happened yet. And you may have to take some like voluntary or involuntary time off to sort out this misunderstanding over one's assertiveness. I'm not wishing ill will on anyone by saying that. That's just the interpretation of the cards. Some person, place, thing, or situation trying to make an enemy out of your boundaries. Trying to get you to go back down dark alleys that you know not to go down. And knowing not to go down those dark alleys is why the collective are the ones being called to step up to the plate and handle it. Because you have that leadership light within you that came out with the Ecclesiastes card, saying that you are the perfect one for the job, meaning to see the situation through and take the reins on it while also keeping a reins on the emotions. There's that journey card. Yet again. So if it hasn't already occurred, it's on its way. It's moving towards the collective. It also may be indication that once you firmly set this boundary, it's going to create a bit of sadness for others if it hasn't already. But you will be moving away from the situation once those boundaries are set. Laying the asphalt to see your way out. No longer unnecessarily carrying the burdens of others. Holy Spirit just said, you can't squeeze a castle in a carriage, which means we have to drop some of that baggage. We can't take it all with us, beloveds. We cannot take it all with us. And even that, knowing, can lead to a little bit of our own sadness. Knowing that we have to give up some of that baggage, those burdens, in order to move forward. Patiently and faithfully with that fidelity. But this can also represent being the guardian over a situation, that light of leadership. It's like saying, yes, we have to be the ones to step up and deal with it and to set more clear boundaries, healthy boundaries, whether it causes others to misinterpret it as aggression or not. It's necessary. What isn't necessary is carrying around the baggage of others, because they steal that energy with zero intention of returning it. The thief in reverse, this is indication that that kind of access is being cut off. It's already in the orbit, so it's already cut off. The collective is no longer going to be allowing others to loose their energy, their strength, and vitality. With the widower right behind that, it's like saying that products of the past, or what is soon to be the past, can no longer steal our energy. Wow, it just lit up outdoors, like the sun just lit right up when I said that. Thank you for that confirmation, Source, Holy Spirit. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There's something about listening to our bodies, but also tuning into the other physical and non-physical senses, like the sixth sense, listening to our body, but also listening to our intuitions. There is some significance to that box on the table. It looks like a little miniature safe, like the kind that you would like keep important documents inside of, like birth certificates and things of that nature. It's empty. So it's indication that the collective at some point either already is or will be no longer identifying with the situation due to the outpouring of guidance through our six senses. There's that fortune card. There's Demeter in orange, but the cornucopia is green. I think it's actually meant to be brown or like an earth tone color. Yes, like a thief in the night. I just saw that, Falcon. What do we have here? But Lady Harvest herself. Lady Harvest herself. Just in a different colored gown. Which is telling me that the different colors have different meanings. Oh, I see. So she, upon being angered over a situation, a very not so good one, a very aggressive situation, Demeter changes her clothes, becomes known as Aranus, and retreats to a cave to purify herself. By doing so, that act had caused some kind of a famine, some kind of a decrease in strength and vitality. With it being in the upright and the outpouring of the cornucopia, there's there is evidence that as this situation plays out, it's also kind of fixing itself to a degree. Not even kind of. Like, as it plays out, it's fixing itself. Interesting. All the different colors highlight different roles of Demeter. And in this gown, it's representative of the harvest. But in this gown, where'd it go? Where's the green gown? anchoring it in, or otherwise the sowing season. But in the southern hemisphere, while the northern hemisphere is celebrating harvest and the autumn equinox, in the southern hemisphere, the collective is celebrating the spring equinox and sowing the seeds, or at least turning the soil. So that anchor could even be representative of like a garden hook that is used to turn the soil. Like a rake. It's a funny looking rake, but hey, just for this particular message. The anchor, yeah, with Poseidon being associated with water, being a quote unquote water god archetype. Absolutely. And Demeter set them sailing without an anchor. So naughty. Demeter sent Poseidon sailing without an anchor. But she did toss him his flowers. Like, here you go. But good luck making landfall when I have the anchor. So Poseidon has been bound to the sea forever due to their aggressiveness. Interpreted in the story as ABUSE. Ugly. ABUSE. Oh, yeah. Pitchfork. Yeah. Good eye. So otherwise, Demeter is not only an agricultural archetype. She's also a symbol of that eternal cycle of death, birth, rebirth. Yes, trident. It is a trident. I know I said pitchfork. Oh, goodness. Oh, the cards are falling. Back to sadness. Indication that the sadness is entering the orbit. But it's meant to be transmuted for growth and renewal. Yep, it's on its way. See, those cards are falling by themselves. I'm not doing that. My hands are over here. Holy Spirit, speak some more. What else is definitely coming into the orbit at this time? Growth and renewal. Nourishment and sustenance. Interesting. But I don't think I can get any more of a spiritual interpretation out of Demeter's clothing. And do keep in mind, this is all for contextual purposes. I'm not encouraging anyone to idolize or worship deceased mortals that were at one point in time masquerading as gods. What I do see here, though, is an incoming earth-based spiritual path for the collective of some kind. Being an earth keeper, a steward and caretaker and guardian of earth, humanity, and nature as a whole is extremely significant and has been in our orbit for quite some time now. Yes. And Persephone was also linked to agriculture. So the symbolism is right on time. But at the end of the day, it's all an illusion. It's all a hologram. And why are we dealing with these things? Because there is that golden nugget of wisdom being brought to the surface to be integrated. Anything else is to be shed away. Some other shedding has to occur. And some of that shedding has to do with our thought forms and how we convince ourselves at times that we have to be the one at that take charge stance for every single situation, the fixer, the problem solver, the troubleshooter. And the collective has been taking on too much as a result, depleting ourselves and then taking on more without replenishing first. And that would be like this same archetype of Demeter, but in reverse, like reversed. Loss, grief, cycles ending, emotional turmoil, being barren. It can also represent the winter months, the barren months of, the 4 seasons, the winter months, and a shift in the nurturing aspects of our lives. So the more that we would invest in pouring from an empty cup, the more there would be expectation of emotional turmoil. But we're stepping up to the plate to put a wedge in those plans. Huh. Well, the importance of that synchronicity stretches pretty far and wide. Because of Demeter Falcon, you sent me on a side quest and now we're stuck there. There's that green dress again. But this one is like, she went above and beyond. To recognize the cycles of life, aspects of our nature, nurturing them. But also, as mentioned, that deep connection with Earth and humanity. Demeter had a lot of grief over her daughter. And this is when, instead of the brown, she would wear all black, representing shedding and dormancy, the winter months. There's a whole story to the seasons, and each season has a different part of the story. Overall, to say that these petty experiences and these misunderstandings about our assertiveness as we continue to apply healthy boundaries. Sometimes others are just going to misread that energy, and it's to be expected. We can't blindly believe that everyone is going to be thinking with the same mindset and responding from the same mindset, because we're all in, regardless of the physical season that we're in, we are all going through different seasons of our own at different times. But the collective is being depended on at this time in terms of humanity to collaborate with Source Holy Spirit in maintaining these natural rhythms. There is indication of dependency here, but also that illusion of duality, life and death, joy, sorrow. But both Demeter and Persephone illustrate how it is all interconnected. And typically when I see this card, I would think, oh, this is the unwelcome visitor. But no, this is Demeter and Persephone reuniting to remind humanity of the delicate balance between all the seasons. Yet the separation of the seasons in and of itself is an illusion. It's all interconnected. And at this time, the collective is being called to be the torchbearers of that specific message and continue to set healthy boundaries. And nurturing those qualities. Resonating it and creating a lasting impact as a result. Don't forget about the importance of our connection with nature, as we are a part of it. Not separate, never separate. We're being called to be the torchbearers, the sustainers, and the environmental stewards. Yet another reminder that no matter what or how that assertiveness is read, what is read from it, there will be challenges, but there will also be that nurturing sustenance being poured back into the environment as we are the ones being called to transmute it. Transmuting that aggression or assertiveness with wisdom and understanding. no longer lacking empathy, maintaining the innocence, seeing the magic of it all, forgiving, that forgiving nature. And you're not actually required to forgive, at least not outwardly, but it may help the collective let go of some of that baggage by affirming that within. It doesn't really matter if we broadcast it that we have forgiven another or forgiven a situation, forgiven a behavior. We don't have to announce it. We can just do it and be done with it. Shining that leadership light in other contexts for balance. So, great. Next 24 hours, we're being called to be the ones to transmute a misunderstanding. That's the message. That's what I have for you guys. And, yeah, that's it. I'm going to have to draw this to a close now. We're pushing on 2 hours. I will see you around the YouTube streets for the rest of the day. I'm going to be dropping in and visiting others and showing support, as typically what I like to be doing with my weekend time, is making time for others. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the remainder of the day, while also becoming a couch potato, resting, because when we rest is when we do the most healing. And that's so important to me right now. So I have to go pour into me so I can pour into you some more, guys. I love you so much, and I thank you so very much for tuning in. Thank you, Falcon. I'm on the mend. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, whether you joined in the chat or you observed from the bushes. Thank you, with much gratitude and appreciation. From my heart chakra to yours, brightest of blessings and agape, omni love to all.